Hey, what's going on, guys? Another episode of What Y'all Think. And today we're going to be talking about three things that women think help them get men, but actually are hurting them. Now, a lot of interesting things because nowadays we get a lot of opinions from online, and a lot of ladies, they actually get their opinion from other ladies.
Yeah.
And I would say the best way to get advice on what helps you get a man would be from
Amen.
another man,
Yeah.
right? That's what I would think too. So, you want to go first? You want me to go first? We can go back and forth if you want to.
Yeah. I'll start off first. One of the things that I think out of the three things that are keeping women single is the career part. Women will often go into a relationship um, in the beginning stages of it, and they feel as if that because they have this good career, that it makes their options of men wider. When in fact, men don't care about your job or your career, what you do for a living.
Okay, interesting point he said there. So he's basically saying, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Right.
that a lot of times women will lead by their careers as a kind of like a up point to convince a guy why they're worth talking to. And I get you there. For me particularly, what you do for a career isn't as important as other factors. So I would say, yeah, definitely wouldn't be a game changer if you told me you had the greatest job in the world versus an average job. For me, that wouldn't be a deal breaker. What about you?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a deal breaker.
Okay, yeah. Um, okay, yeah, great point there. So one of the things that I think women do, and they think this is more attractive to men, but it isn't as attractive, is when they want to give you that strong, independent thing, and it kind of piggybacks off the idea that your career is going to help you get a guy. For me, I really don't like the strong and independent feel. I prefer feminine, nurturing, caring. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. You want a feminine woman, a woman that's going to be kind and caring and nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
All this, I don't need a man, Miss Independent. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when a woman says, I'm Miss Independent, I don't need a man, and my thing is, why the hell are you talking to
me? That's true. For me, what happens with the strong independent thing is I feel like a guy is strong and independent. As a guy, I pay my own bills. I'm strong, independent, and so I don't necessarily need to come off like that when I'm speaking to a woman. I think it comes off a little weird. It kind of looks like you're trying to prove a point. For me, I'd more so rather you be natural, be a little bit more natural. Don't come off as you're strong, independent. If you have your own place, you have your own job. I know that, but I don't want to feel like I'm talking to another man in a sense. That's the feeling kind of gives me. And I'm not saying, ladies, don't be strong and independent. I'm not saying that at all. By all means, be strong and independent. But I wouldn't lead with that. You know what I mean? It's not something that is going to be a game changer for a guy. And I know I don't speak for all guys, but generally speaking, I think a lot of guys would agree. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that was another great one. What about you? You have any others?
Yeah, I would say another one is when it comes down to money. Men do not care about your money. We don't care about how much you make because, for one, in the beginning of a relationship, who generally funds a relationship?
The men. Men.
And majority of the money that's being spent, is it going to be spent by the woman on the man or the man on the woman?
The man is going to be spending his money on the woman, I would say.
And just overall, men just don't care about your money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree with that. A lot of times, I can't speak for every case, but a lot of times the money that the women have don't necessarily go towards that man.
Right.
So projecting that you have that money, I don't think that's going to give you extra points with a guy.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it may be like icing on the cake if she has a little bit of money, so you don't have to always take care of her. But that's not going to be a game changer, in my opinion.
So I feel like for me, more so the thing would be this. Every woman I've messed with, dated, whatever, I never questioned them about the money, how much they made, etc., etc. Now, I believe that if we're talking about marriage, and once we get to that point, then I will sit down and be like, okay, well, how much do you make a year, and what can you, if anything, can you contribute to the household load? Other than that, a man just doesn't care about your money.
Yeah. For me, per se, too, if you are making X amount of money, I don't know if that's gonna convince me to talk to you. I more so would want to see how our personalities are.
Yeah.
You know, if we're able to have a good time together, if we're able to, uh, I guess, feel the vibes, have good vibes, and get along, and if you're able to look out for me the same way I look out for you, kind of thing. So yeah, your money wouldn't be a game changer for me at all. All right, I guess it's my go now. Now this is a tough one because I believe that I've run into a lot of women who um, tend to do this, but and I don't want to categorize women, but I would say that them leading with their emotions versus like
Mm.
a sense of logic, to me
Mm.
that that comes off a little like you don't really know what you're saying, you don't really know what you're doing, kind of thing. Let me give you an example. Um, if you don't trust the guy's opinion or whatever, you trust your opinion over everybody else's, and you are wrong on one instance, and then the guy was right, and it happened again the second time, the third time, the fourth time. A lot of times their emotions will say, you know what, I'm still going to trust myself over him. Where the logical side will say, well, look, he's 100%, you're zero. I think I would kind of go with whatever he's saying there. And I'm not saying that he can never be wrong, but that, for me, that tends to be kind of a turn off. And I'm not saying women lead with this, but it's just a little something to add on to that. I kind of find that to be like a turn off in a sense, you know, leading with your emotions. I would say if you can, don't want you to turn into a man and be 100% logical, but I would say if you can, kind of steer a little bit clear from that 100% emotional decision making kind of type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It would be the equivalent to when a woman is, let's say she's emotional, and the first thing she wants to do is go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example,
Mm-hmm.
doing things, leading, acting off of your emotions
Mm-hmm.
instead of using logic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you could be using that money towards something else instead you go
Yeah.
out shopping because your emotions is all over the place. And I'm glad you said it because that leads to my next point. Um, kind of, sort of, to a degree, how you're talking about leading with your emotions. What would be a turnoff for a man would be a woman that's leading with her penis, meaning you want to be the man of the relationship.
Yeah.
That's a turnoff.
Absolutely.
There was this one woman that I was messing with, and she was saying, "Oh, it's my way or the highway." Then she also said once, what was that she said? When I'm talking, it's best you be quiet. Don't respond.
Wow.
It's like you're not letting me be the man.
Mm-hmm.
So how is this ever going to work out? If
Yeah.
you're being the masculine one throughout the whole thing, this
Yeah.
isn't going to work. So yeah, that masculine woman who wants to be in control of everything and rule and run everything, total turn off.
And you know, I don't even consider that masculine because I'm a guy too, and I wouldn't even speak like that to a woman. You know,
Yeah.
So
or
that,
to another, or to another man,
or to
yeah.
another man too. You
Yeah.
know, and that brings me to another thing here too. I feel like a lot of times when you're not naturally something, what you tend to do is to overdo it to overcompensate for the fact that you're not naturally something. Let me give you an example. All right. I find that a lot of times I have people that I know who, let's say a guy, he is interested in other guys, and so he might be the feminine one. I find that he may switch a little harder than a natural born woman. He may extend his words a little bit longer, like than a natural born woman, and I understand that because I see that in the workplace too. A lot of times, for people who aren't naturally managers or leaders, they tend to go a little bit harder than someone who's a natural manager or a natural leader, because they have the I have something to prove mindset in their mind. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that what we've done in society is we have, how can I put it? We have desensitized society to where everything and anything goes. And we were talking about this earlier at the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
How you can't say this, you can't say that. This sexual liberation was a few things that we touched on. This Lizzo thing, her being fat and obese, that
Mm-hmm.
was something that we touched on. To
Mm-hmm.
where now the man is being the woman and the woman is being the man in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because now we're in a society where everything goes.
Yeah. Yeah, we are living in pretty liberal society too. And because of that liberal society, I feel like certain people get away with a lot more than others, which leads me to this next point I'm going to make: accountability. I feel like accountability is something that is not found a lot of times with certain people. I think you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Accountability is it's just not there. So I would say that although it may hurt your ego, it may be a little tough, but if you know you've done something and you genuinely understand what you've done, I would say it's best to acknowledge that, even be a little apologetic about it, and let the person know that, you know what, that's something that I'm going to work on, or I'll try not to do that again, versus doing something I call the 3Ds: deflect, defend, and deny. I feel like
Mm,
I
I'm gonna
feel like
steal that one.
that. Yeah, I call those the 3Ds because I run into a lot of times where it's just deflect, defend, deny. Well, what about you? Okay, fine. We can talk about me, but let's not pick the time where I'm mentioning something you've done to talk about me. Defend. It's like, no. You should be okay with stuff like this. It's not that bad. Or deny. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Another prime example to piggyback on that is when we were at the restaurant and we were telling Nelly and the other lady how society has created, and to be fair, it's unfair that they've created this standard that it's existed forever, that if a man sleeps with multiple women, he's a player, but if a woman does it, she's a whore. Or how I gave the example earlier before we went to the restaurant, if a man has 3 kids by 3 different women, society is going to say much about him. But
being a man.
right, exactly. But if she has 3 different kids by 3 different men, she's going to be looked at differently.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we accept that we didn't make those rules, that society did, we accept that yes, as men, we should do better.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, we both acknowledge that. But when we put it back on the women, it was like, oh, but this, or oh, but that, or oh, but this, or oh, but that. True, I get it. I give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, got you. Hands up. We don't want to fight. But at the end of the day, society created those rules, and those rules existed before you and I were ever here.
Absolutely, absolutely. We don't set the rules. We just acknowledge that we do know the rules, and we move accordingly because of the rules that we know exist. And so, yeah, there are some unfairnesses that are in society, and I mean, I can acknowledge that it's there. I didn't create it. It was here before me, and it'll probably be here long after I'm gone. But I do know that these unfairness things, they're here, and I can acknowledge that things are not exactly fair.
Right.
So
because men, we don't put up as much defense as with women. But when we were saying those examples earlier, they were defending it. Like,
yeah.
Listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. A lot of the defense comes in, and the deflection. That actually happened to me earlier today.
Right.
So I felt deflection when I was speaking to someone earlier today. So yeah, absolutely right. But let's see. Okay, we're a little bit past our 10-minute mark. But what do you guys think? Leave a comment below, and like and subscribe. Tell us what you guys think. All right. We'll catch you guys later.